Hello, everybody. Today, I'm going to be basically simulating an ant colony with dinosaurs. This was a really interesting video that I really do want to do here. So, Team One Triceratops, and then Stegosaurus. I'd like to say maybe fire ants, and then Argentine ants. Yes, those ants are big rivals, especially in southeast Southeast North America. So we have the huh. Well, I completely forgot to make the females. The ones on the top were meant to be the females. So modify the genome. So basically, for the ant, queen ant, I basically gave them totally great full traits here on max, and I also meant to do that. And also, any females that are born, um, any females that are born, uh, any females that are born, will be released into the wild, since that's not how ant colonies work. There's one queen. So yeah, just one moment. Okay, this is me. Like 10 seconds later, we have the stegosaurs ready, and I guess I'm just gonna leave them the. Let's say, well, again, if you see here in the top right, we do have a few carnivores planned for a fight, and they're gonna run like Cold War thing. So let's get just everyone in. Here we go. So let's release. So first, let's release the queen over to the starting island. Oh yeah, and it's desert versus jungle. I hope the raptors can't figure out how to get over here. But yeah, the stegosaurus are gonna be into the desert. So I did give them some amplified thirst. And then the Triceratops are going to be over here. You know what? I feel like, when do ants get sick? Right? When do ants get sick? Like, when has there ever been an ant hospital and the queen ant rolls up like, yeah, I just got pneumonia the other day. Like, what? That is not going on. So let's just get rid of all of the diseases. See, here is a map of what's going on. Those were the Dilophosaurus over there, and why exactly do you know? No food. Did I not put a feeder on this? I might not have put a feeder. No, I very well put a feeder. I might genuinely just have to throw a slab of meat down. Dinosaur just died. Which one is it? Which one is it this time? How do they all keep starving? Did I not put hunting on or something? Here we go. Take all the food you need. More prey too. Okay. Just give me a moment to dig through the settings. Yeah, I'm sorry. Fast forward like 30 seconds. Down here, right? Wait, I didn't change anything. I'm so confused. So, I know they should be able to hunt here. I am just extremely confused. And the only female they have is probably going to die very soon. Can't breed. Increase comfort? You know what? I'm going to turn comfort off. Comfort is super annoying. I mean, what was even the point of comfort? Large amount. I think large, right? There we go. Let's start the program. Anyway, I think the queens should probably be all settled in by now. Yep. So, why? Pause. This is so annoying. Come on. I've given them all food. But for some reason, they still choose not to eat it. They're just walking around. I want to starve myself to death today. How did you even end up in the middle of the water? Are you just, I feel like I should just let you starve at this point. You know what? I just hate you for doing this. So, over there, food. Don't see anyone who shouldn't have food. I am going to scream if somehow you guys don't have food. So you know what? I'll make it super simple. Oh, it's the juveniles dying, isn't it? They don't know how to hunt. Shoot. That might be on me. Well, when either so-called ant colonies get 5 more population, they will advance on to the next island that I have planned here. Anyway, let's get the rest of them released. Get them going out there. No. So yeah, here we go. But in the end, there's going to be a massive war, and I'm going to unleash them all onto each other. And I will be simulating some natural disasters. So let's get everyone settled in here, and let's check up on the queen. So Triceratop number 1 here. Let's name her, I don't know, Tracy? I don't know. But basically, all she needs is some wetland. But of course, a few islands later, which island did I put wetland on? Shoot. This island. And this island. She'll get wetland. And over here, we have Stegosaurus 1. Let's call her Stacy. Tracy and Stacy. They are mortal enemies. Back in ant school. Stacy was the school bully, and her favorite target to pick on was Tracy. Okay, so she used to bully Tracy all the time, and they were like throat and throat, and soon they started a prank war throughout high school. And then at college, they went to separate colleges, but they had contacts to it. But they like knew each other's numbers. They knew each other's numbers on the internet. And managed to communicate and bullied each other on there. So right now, they're each forming their own armies to fight the other one. Oh yeah, and also I think I'm gonna add in a few more nests just to speed up the reading. And you know what? To start off to, I will also start to create some breeding plans for the dinosaur. I'm sorry, where is your queen in all of this? Was I just blind, or does the queen not exist? The queen? You know, right there, is there like, are they like two different, separate? So confused. Is Stacy not a Stegosaurus? We have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Houston, we have... Stacy already claimed cats. That's probably why. Okay, well, let's create a plan here. At least Tracy will be available. So, here we go. I'll be back to you when... the breeding is finished. Turns out I completely missed it. But the baby Stegosaurus hatched, and it looks like they have gained 1, 2, 3, 4... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 populate 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 5 population from this. Let me just check. They should have 9 adult population is 4. So let me just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They did just gain their first 5. So we are going to let this ant colony over to their next island, which is I think this island. I plan to be the next one, but they will have to get their way over here, and also we have to. Yeah, sorry. I will give you that grass there. And let's come over here. Have the eggs finished up? Yes, they have. With how many? 1, okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Okay. That means we will be bringing Stacy or Tracy over to her next island. And which one is that going to be? I know not that one. And I think it might have been this one. So here we go. Let's see how they can react to this. But none of them have really made it up there. I mean, both of them are close. But it doesn't seem either of them have discovered the area. I'll get back to you guys when they do. Okay, so it's been a little bit of waiting here. Neither of them have really discovered the bridge. So you know what? I'm going to make a different bridge leading to the same island. So here we go. Now I'm gonna make it come just right along over. I bet you they'll be curious. And yeah, sorry, I also have to make the sand a little bit, like, yeah. And I'll do the same over here. Yeah, actually, I think this is like the perfect spot, really, but I guess the next best spot would be right here to connect it over. So let's wait a little bit longer. Okay, major thing going on. Some of the juvenile stegosaurs seem to be wandering off onto the bridge, but it seems as if they decided not to go over there. I'm going to assume they can't see too far, so they don't see any of those nice plants and vegetation over there. Yeah, it looks like they were just all called back by their parents not to go over there. Stranger danger, you know. Just free land to your dumb ant colony. Oh yeah, and also, oh no, I don't think there's any more kids. So no more babies. So actually, we can't expand. So you might be able to do that. Yeah. Okay, no, I back to waiting, I guess. Oh, I mean, the stegosaurs are really brave here, going out. These triceratops really just don't like to. Look, they've explored everywhere but the bridge. You know, maybe the dinosaurs just need a teensy tiny bit of motivation. Wish I wasn't doing this at night, because eventually I do actually have to sleep. Okay, I'm done. I'm starting a sandstorm over here. So the ant colony is forced to explore a little bit for food, or they die. And you know what? You know what? I'll even be nice enough to them to just, here you go. Walk out over here to the island. Okay, yeah. Anyway, now I'm gonna be kind of simulating a drought here. More like a heat wave, actually. I'm gonna say a heat wave instead. Heat wave, I think works a little bit better. Okay, let's see. So in the heat wave, first, just a few plants die. Not the worst thing, still pretty inconvenient for the desert. And then a pretty big tree kind of dies there. Now, one of these bigger areas of plants shrinks down a bit. And then one of the only actual trees, like in the desert, here just dies out. Um, and slowly, this is happening everywhere across the desert. This is horrible. This is horrendous. Look, he stands there in fear and terror as he watches his ecosystem get torn apart before quickly running away as his universe is a disaster. Look, they're all huddled up here near these plants. They should just know there are more plants out there waiting. And you know what? You know what? I will even be kind enough to do this. Boom! Right over there, straight to some clearly viewable plants. You know what? I'll do this even over for the Triceratops too. Cause why not? Why not? I mean, come on. If it means you'll go over there and expand their territory just a little bit, why not? Actually, if the Triceratops, nah, they haven't gone over there at all. The Stegosaurus, I guess they kinda, barely, but kinda. Okay, anyway, over here for the Triceratops, let's also connect them out to the next island. That's not this one. But very soon, I will face them off with their predators here in the ecosystem, which means we just have to get back to more and more waiting. Oh yeah. And also, I'm gonna create a few plants, and you know what? At this point, basically not doing anything. Care about the kids. Yeah, don't care about them. So here we go. Start that program up. And that's that. More waiting. Already, look at that. Look at those Triceratops juveniles. How great is it? They have wandered out off halfway across the bridge to a better world. A paradise. They've wandered off this far. Come on. You can see the luscious plants and trees there. I mean, can you not? And over for the Stegosaurus there. Not much. Not particularly much. Which is why, you know what? I think they're just moving their territory away from the bridge at this point. I mean, come on. You know what? I'll make the bridge right here. Connect it up right there. Or deep water. So, of course, the Dilophosaurs don't get over here. Did the goat drown? No, goat meant goaty. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean to do that, Goatfurt. Oh, Goatfurt too. I don't really care about you. Okay. Wow. Anyway, that's that. And I should probably also get rid of all of that. Oh yeah, and I kind of forgot about that heat wave a little bit. Hmm. Still on the heat wave. Just die all the plane. Die. Oh, darn it. I couldn't kill those plants. So, yeah, there is a heat wave going on. So, maybe, just maybe, these dinosaurs should move a bit so they can find food. I feel like they just hate me and they're moving away from the bridge. I mean, they were all right there where I just made the bridge, and now they all move away. Like, what, is the bridge some kind of killer dinosaur that's gonna eat you? But the Triceratops, this is what I like to see, the great juvenile migration. This video is gonna get way too long. I'm gonna have to start the intro very soon. Anyway, it is time for something. Unleash the beasts. Can the dinosaurs fight them? Can the dinosaurs fight these creatures? Or will they simply perish trying to? Or will the creatures they fight lose? Will they shrivel up and die? So yeah, the Dilophosaurus easily. Do Dilophosaurus or Dilophosaurus are medium sized? What? I'm sorry. What the what? It's a medium. Tell me the nest. So you're telling me just everything just should have a medium sized nest now, huh? Huh? A medium? I'm sorry, aren't they listed as specifically small carnivores? I mean, I don't know what part of small is not understood here. But for some reason, no, they have a medium sized nest. I am going to kill the people who have made me suffer. They made me suffer. This is suffering. Suffering is the small dinosaurs having to have medium-sized nests. Curse you, frontier development, and your horrible, stinking logic. Is this the 831st time I've crashed out in this game? May or may not be. And why would I happen to know, you ask? Because I know. I count how many times I crash out. Did I actually forget my first 231 times I crashed out? No, because you just heard me list them. Come on. You were right there. You were literally 12 feet away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 feet away from lush paradise. But nah, now we want the Dilophosaurus and Velociraptors to come down to track you down and eat you alive. That got a little dark, didn't it? Anyway, let's come up over here too. And now, how do we just add a second, quicker way for the Dilophosaurus to get over? And I'll make it some good. So maybe also the Stegosaurus just might, just and I'll put in some meat just in case. Gentle motivation. See, why is this area just so? Why are the dinosaurs of the jungle just so much better than the desert at genuinely exploring? Oh yeah, now time for our next disaster called a tsunami. So a massive tsunami will crash into the I think on the map, this would technically be the east side of the desert, and the west side of the jungle, which is where most of the populations really live here. So let's see. Instantly, a massive heap of water would cross over into the desert. And soon the dinosaurs over off in the jungle will begin to just flood. It's a flood. It's just flooding inwards. The tsunami, I think, really just hit really, really bad for the jungle. And now the jungle and its queen are all stuck on this small little island out here. The desert could not be doing better than them right now. I mean, yes, a bunch of water just completely engulfed one of their nests, two of their nests that are gratefully unoccupied. That'd be a horrible thing if they were. Let me just make sure. Okay, unoccupied nest too. But the flood is super close for making this place even more hell for them. Yeah, the Stegosaurus are gone. What a bummer. They can actually walk through now the shallow water. Maybe not the worst thing. They could survive this. They could. They could. But let's just say a nuclear missile is. But Stacy and Tracy are stuck in the same fate. Oh yeah, and did I not mention that just caused a giant, massive earthquake? Yeah, there's a giant earthquake, tearing poor Mr. Goat, who has seen too much pain and suffering, into doom. Poor Mr. Goat, you never deserved this. But it's happening to you either way, flattening the terrain. Oh, I think Mr. Goat might actually be fine now. Anyway, yeah, massive earthquake rips across the land. Like a good half of the island shrinks down. The lower the terrain again. Will kind of fall down into the earth here. And just let me pause this now. Pause this. Let me just get a lot of them in here. And now let me just place a few rocks. Let's just trap them forever and for eternity and let them starve to death without, or thirst to death without any water in their puny tiny hole. That wasn't too dark, was it? So yeah, now I'm officially trapped from any water. This could be extremely bad for the jungle and most of its population. As well, the babies are actually trapped outside. Well, this giant, massive heap of rock that has just engulfed all of their parents and will probably make them seize life. And a few of the Triceratops, including the queen, are outside. It seems like they might have to abandon the part of the colony, including some of the children. This will completely leave Tracy where they all left off, where they all had began. As the herd cannot find a way out, or any water, then finally, water seeps through from underneath the rocks. This could be their final savior. But they will never reunite from the colony. Meanwhile, the stegosaurs are doing awfully better. As the earthquake ruptures, soon a lot of their nice, deep, or shallow water that they had would deepen. As a massive rift begins to form, which would trap a few of the stegosaurs. Just as they had ran for food. And sadly now these stegosaurs were trapped on an island of water, including Stacy, leaving every single juvenile alive to fend for themselves, while every single adult would likely starve on the island unless they could maybe graze on the lily pad. But it seems as if this would be the end of the Stegosaurus army. Suddenly, jagged rocks began to sprout out from the ground. This could save them all. Just possibly. As a new rift would form. Yes, shrinking their territory, but stopping water from completely coming in and flooding. Most of them, at least. A few of them would likely be trapped outside the rift. But the rift might not be the most of their worries right now, as the rift would continue growing, continuously cutting them off from every path of escape. And out in the desert, it is super dry. They all might just die of the one thing they thought would save them, the water out here. As rocks would bury off every single possible escape around them. They realized, every single one of them, they were doomed to die. Stacy sat there. All of the juveniles were out there below, dying. Then deep water would begin to also rise in. This meant they might just all drown in here. And very soon, massive boulders would come out from the sky, beginning to seal them in. Little did they know, it was not meteors or anything. It was them sinking into the ground. Shh. Pretend they're sinking into the ground, okay? Look, there's literally no way to actually make that happen except for the sink tool that would lower the terrain. But that sucks. Lame. Boring. The only glimmer of hope they could see is through a small gap in the rocks. Or if you look, hey, that was kind of rude to just kick me out of that beautiful vision right there like that. Come on. Was that small gap there in the rocks. That was the only hope, the only light they could see in there, the only escape they could have. And in that world of just utter pain, utter misery, utter destruction, everything had gone wrong. The juveniles would have to band together, leading to the first king stegosaurus. Ron, I'll call them. Would live on to survive here, as the rest of the stegosaur herd would probably fade into nothing. Stacy and what she created were to be no more. And neither would Tracy. But Tracy could at least still live on. But actually, the new herd that formed inside of there, they had water. They had water as the rocks filled in even more, beginning to consume them all. The earthquake would destroy everything. Everything they would ever have, or love, or want would die off. As the water got barricaded off, a few of them even being cut off from the rest. Maybe they could survive off liquid in the leaves or in the vegetation. But in the end, they couldn't survive this. Could they? Trapped in basically a prison as the world around you would get torn apart. Meanwhile, the outside world was even worse. Ew. But on the outside, Tracy would do her Triceratops friend well. She would survive with the remaining juveniles who could. She would attempt survival. And they could live. Yes. Eventually they might run out of food for a little while, and lose a few. But in the end, rocks began to engulf them all. As massive rocks from the ceiling filled in, they now lived in a cave. The cave couldn't get sealed off though, right? Right? Soon the cave began to close in. They were lucky. Any creature that would possibly just not be closed in for this might not survive. What's coming next? The ecosystem may never be exactly the same as it was meant to be. Exactly the same as it was intended. As the last glance at hope, the last glance at the outside world would fade behind rock and stone. And the last glance at survival for the remaining Triceratops would be buried up in ash and misery, as the Dilophosaurus would begin to roam the land, once belonging to something not theirs. The juvenile Stegosaurus, they even have it in them to survive without any parents, survive without any skills. Yes, they do have females. Which I kind of forgot about the rewilding thing, but I think that makes this a little bit more interesting. That means if the queen dies, and I guess technically there are female ants that aren't queens too, so I guess that makes a little bit of sense. They weren't even trained, they weren't even raised. Can they cross the oceans of deep water? Can they cross everything? Can they break the limits of reality to get back to what was once their home and repopulate the land that their parents would have wanted them to? The land Stacy would have wanted them to. This could be the end for the colony. This could be the beginning for a new. But this could also be the end of a great era. The end of something amazing. Even engulfed in rock and pain and misery. Tracy would keep her herd going, even with limited resources and the fact that many of them would probably die. The best she could do was sit there and hope as her footsteps would trot across the land of that cave, as her past life would remnants across the remaining Triceratops. But just maybe, out there, the Triceratops could also survive. It seems that if life can't find a way out of this one, it seems as if the dinosaurs nurtured now can't survive. Will they ever be able to? With both species having completely different problems. No water, and well, I guess no water too. I guess it's kind of the same. Sorry. Would they survive till the time that their children could come in and maybe rescue them? Would they survive till hurricanes and wind and more earthquakes could crash down the rocks and rubble around their past civilization? Or could it just be that was it for their life? Or could dinosaurs survive from their ashes? Can new species survive in the consequences of their actions? Because life finds a way. But can life survive what is coming? Can history survive doom? Can history survive the end of that species? Can the dinosaurs roam free? Can they survive the disaster that is coming? Or will their world perish and die as all vegetation would slowly fall onto the dying grounds of Earth? Or just maybe, from the ashes of the fallen civilization, a new species of dominant creatures will rise up and take over the lands that were once roamed by another creature. Anyway, guys, if you guys liked that video, make sure to subscribe to me, of course, and join the Nerd Army. And also, could you pretty please subscribe? It's because, like, this just end part after you first saw the volcano, that's like 2 hours after everything else. Because I painstakingly placed every single individual lantern in this volcano for that one scene. And then for this lava stream down here, I also did that for 30 minutes. So please subscribe now. And leave a like too if you could, if you're nice enough. Maybe even comments. I don't know why, but for half of my videos, I'll set it to where you can comment on it, then I can't comment on it. So it's really strange. But yeah, if you can comment, leave a comment, please. I'd really like to support. Make sure to join the Nerd Army and subscribe to CarlinMan92, Mason's Golf Channel, and more, along with Razor Rides. And also, guys, do you guys want a part 2? Because I'm gonna make a part 2 nonetheless. But I'm thinking if I make a part 2, maybe a part 3. Part 2 is where I was thinking I was gonna end this. But I think if you guys wanted enough, go check out the post section of my channel. Watch this video first. I'm gonna put in that post. And And then I'm gonna ask you guys if you want to, if you actually want to continue the series after episode 2. Yeah, but I have a lot planned for episode 2, so yeah, bye.